I want you guys to rate the Cowboys roster right now, Madden style. 1 to 100. This is 100 on the high end, 1 on the low end. We're about to run through the entire Cowboys roster, the depth charts position by position as well, and break down everything. So rate the Cowboys roster for me right now in the comments section. This is the Cowboys Report. I am Tom Downey. It is time for our depth chart breakdown. We'll start offense, go through defense, spending sometimes a bit more on a given position. We're going to begin, of course, at the quarterback spot, where it is right now Dak Prescott, Cooper Rush, Will Grier, and the Nooch is in there, Ben DiNucci. In the end, this is pretty straightforward. The Cowboys need Dak to return to peak form. They need him to be the guy. Otherwise, this team is going to disappoint again. Dak was not quite right down the stretch last year, whether it was injury. I tend to blame the offensive line having big-time problems. Dallas needs Dak to bounce back in a big way this season. Let's go to running back. Now without Shewa Olanolua, recently cut. Ezekiel Elliott, Tony Pollard are your top two guys. 1, maybe 2 of everyone else will make the roster. Maybe it's Rico Dowdle as a special team RB3. Nick Ralston as your fullback, tight end, special teamer. Maybe Ryan Nall. Maybe one of those UDFAs, Hardy Davis and Shamklin over the years. But barring injury, this is going to be the Ezekiel Elliott, Tony Pollard show once again. Hopefully, at least for me, a little bit more of the Tony Pollard show as well, since he does offer you more explosion and big plays than what Zeke's given you for a couple years now. Let's go to receiver, and this is the spot I'm a bit worried about here. CeeDee Lamb is set to take over as wide receiver 1. Once Gallup gets healthy, fully, probably not until after week 1, he'll be receiver 2. Then you've got Jalen Tolbert and James Washington fighting for receiver 3, and maybe receiver 2 duties earlier in the year. Noah Brown, if he's your 5, you're fine. If he's your 3 or 4, you're a little bit antsy there. Then there's, I think, a big open battle. Steve Fayoko has the advantage there because he was a 5th-round pick. Then it's either current UDFAs or former ones, and a bigger body in TJ Vasher, speedster, and Brandon Smith. Hopefully bounce back year coming for Ty Freifogel. Dontario Drummond put up good numbers for Ole Miss. That is going to be an open competition, and I promise you in the preseason, somebody will emerge as the new pet cat receiver, because it happens every single year. However, overall, on paper, guys, let's be honest, the receiver room has been downgraded. You are not as good as you were last year. Now, hopefully you play better and play up to your expectations, and CeeDee Lamb has a bigger breakout year. He's been a 1,000-yard guy. You want that next step forward in year 3, but the receiver room has downgraded on paper this year. So what will be the Cowboys' record in 2022? We'll talk schedule stuff more in the future, since that comes out on May 12th on Thursday, but I want your early record predictions right now for the Dallas Cowboys. The tight end we go. Dalton Schultz is your number 1 guy, and then tight end 2, 3, and maybe 4 are up for grabs. Jake Ferguson was the 4th-round pick out of Wisconsin. Former UDFA Sean McEwen, Jeremy Sprinkle are both back. Will they carry 3 or 4? I am not sure. I'm also keeping my eye out on this storyline. The franchise tag deadline will be here in, we'll say 2 months here. Will Dalton Schultz get an extension? Had they taken one in the 3rd round, I would have said no. In the 5th round, it might have helped your chances. 4th round, still kind of in that middle ground. I wonder if the Cowboys won't pay Dalton Schultz. Things have been quiet on that front, but you've got 2 months to get that deal done. So keep an eye on Dalton Schultz if he plays on the franchise tag or not. The offensive line has at least 2 new starters. Well, 2 asterisks if we're counting Terrence Steele as a new one. La'el Collins is gone at right tackle. Steele steps in. Tyler Smith then takes over, hopefully at left guard, as your starter and then left tackle of the future. The Cowboys' offensive line last year, despite what people might say, best O-line. No, it wasn't. We watched them play football. It was bad. And it was it almost felt like a chemistry thing. Like, one play it'd be your left guard, then it'd be your right tackle, then your center gets beat, then even your right guard and left tackle, your Hall of Famers, Zach Martin, Tyron Smith, even those guys got beat a little bit more often than you expect. I need consistency and stability on this line. Hopefully, first-round pick Tyron Smith can help provide that. I am worried about center. I am worried about his technique and penalties. That's got to get overhauled. We'll see if it happens or not. There will be growing pains at left guard. I can pretty much promise you that. Hopefully that's not the case, but let's be realistic here. Hopefully Terrence will take another step forward. There is change on this offensive line and risk as well. Now, which side of the ball do you think is better? If I'd asked this at the start of this time last year, unanimous offenses. Now, maybe not so much. Better side of the ball on paper, roster-wise, for the Cowboys. O for offense or D for defense. Randy Gregory's gone. Tank Lawrence is back, and the Cowboys are shuffling that pass rushing unit. Dorrance Armstrong's back, but despite what they told you about them choosing not to retain Randy Gregory, they wanted to keep him. That's why they took Dean Williams in round 2. Dante Fowler, Terrell Basham also there. And yes, you can expect Micah Parsons to get plenty of pass rush reps as well. Now, DN2, in terms of who plays the most, not starter opposite Lawrence, is going to be a heavy rotation. Tank Lawrence will rotate too. Basham and Golston will play there some. But the snap counts for your second most played defensive lineman, whether it's Armstrong, D. Williams, Basham, Golston, Fowler, I think that will be a heavy rotation. And outside of Tank Lawrence, you're going to see a lot of players getting reps at defense end, but they will keep Lawrence fresh, as they've always done in this city for a long time. This video, folks, was filmed live on Rumble. It was an exclusive Cowboys Report After Hours video. So if you want more of those, about every other week after hours, we got you guys covered. Go follow us at rumble.com/CowboysTV. Let's go to the interior of the defensive line now. Starters as your 3 techniques. Neville Gallimore, Osa Odighizuwa, Tristan Hill, kind of sort of Carlos Watkins. He got him over tweener for me, can play a bunch of different spots for you. Hopefully one of those guys breaks out. The fatties, John Ridgeway, Quinton Bohanna. I'm excited about Ridgeway. I had a 4th-round grade on him. That was my favorite of the day 3 selections, outside of maybe Damone Clark. We'll get to in a little bit here. They got some fatties, but I need to break out from a pass rusher. The running game against the Niners, a lot of yards. It's not why you lost that game. It's because on 3rd downs, you couldn't get off the field. Having a disruptive presence from the interior will drastically help you in that area. So I'm hoping for Odighizuwa or Gallimore. I take Tristan Hill or whoever. I need a breakout from someone on that interior defensive line. To linebacker, yeah, Micah's your star, so there you go. Leighton Vander Esch, Jabril Cox are roster locks. They'll be linebacker 2, 3, or 1 and 2 if you put Parsons more at edge, which you should absolutely do, by the way. Damone Clark, I know Steven says he's going to play. I'm not sure on that one. Devin Harper, your 6th-round pick out of Oklahoma State. And keep an eye on Aaron Hansford and Story Jackson, too. Cowboys love to have a UDFA linebacker make the roster like Luke Gifford once did. There is upside here with Clark and Cox and even LVE, and also uncertainty at the position if Cox is not the same back from his injury, if he can't stop the run. So linebacker has me worried, but also intrigued with the high-end upside at the position. To cornerback we go. One major change as Deron Bland comes in as a 5th-round pick out of Fresno State. But Trayvon Diggs is back, Anthony Brown, Jordan Lewis. Seems like Kelvin Joseph is back too, and so is Nashawn Wright. Now, you do have to worry about regression from year to year as you play better QBs on defense. And I am worried about a regression year at corner. Anthony Brown's best year ever. Does he regress? I don't think Trayvon Diggs has quite as many INTs this year. I also hope he gets beat a little bit less as teams finally learn to say, hey, maybe we shouldn't throw at him. That might be a good idea from our standpoint there. Can Jordan Lewis do it? Or Could Kelvin Joseph and or Nashawn Wright take a big-time step forward in year 2? The corners played way better than what we thought the previous year. I want them to not take a step back after 4 steps forward this past year. If you haven't already, make sure to follow us on Rumble, rumble.com/CowboysTV. And, of course, we're also on YouTube as well. Make sure you're following us on both of those major video platforms, youtube.com/CowboysTV and rumble.com/CowboysTV. Make sure you support the show so I can feed my family. The safety room. I feel great about it, to be honest. I like a lot of your UDFAs, Marquise Bell, Wanye Thomas in particular. You've got Jaron Kearse and Malik Hooker and Donovan Wilson and even Israel Mukuamu. This is the best I have felt about the safety room in years because they've actually invested in it for the first time in years. Last year, the Cowboys devoted the fewest resources from a draft capital and actual cap space allotment perspective at the safety room. That changed this year because they hit on a bunch of different guys. That certainly is a good sign for the safety room. And Kearse, man, what a gem the Cowboys found in him in free agency. What do you think is the biggest need left for the Cowboys? Self-scouting is an important part of any organization. So if you were self-scouting your favorite team, what do you think that biggest need would be? Plot twist, I think it's punt returner because I don't know who it is. I think that either Chris Nagar or more likely Jonathan Garibay can handle that kicker duty for you. Brian Anger, he's your punter. Jake McQuaid said his name 0 times last year. He did his job. Tony Pollard is a good kick returner. But do you want your receiver 1 doing punts when your receiver 2, Michael Gallup, is injured? I'm not sure I do. And even though Pollard's a great kick returner, he hasn't done really punt returns yet. And I want to put Diggs back there. So the roster doesn't have a lot of guys with punt return experience. So one of 2 things has to happen here if you want to have it not be CeeDee Lamb. Either A, you got to go get somebody else on from a different team or in free agency, or maybe more likely, you try other guys who haven't done it before and see if they can handle those duties. I would like someone with a little bit more juice than just fair catch or 5-yard return. Give me something there in the punt return role.